So I wanted to do this in real time and be very transparent. And this is going to go into me, quote unquote, me by myself documenting my shoulder surgery and recovery. So I had surgery last week, Wednesday, on the 6th. After surgery, I was in the hospital for 2 days. On the fifth day, they figured, okay, if they were treating me like they were treating an able-bodied person who hadn't had a spinal cord injury or some kind of developmental disability, maybe. Well, let's just stick with spinal cord injury because that's what I have. They were treating me like a regular person. Okay, you spend 2 hot days, usually for able-bodied people, with some day surgery. But anyways, they felt that the pain that I was in was going to subside, and all I really needed to do now is rehab. But me being a C6, C7, even if I was a quadriplegic, and the only difference between me and a para is that I don't have as much dexterity in my hands that a para will have, and they probably have a little more trunk muscle than me if I didn't have any. So with one arm, being in the sling for the first 6 weeks and so forth, and after rehab, and I mean I can't really live on my own at this point like I usually like I do, and do a lot of things and care for myself like I do. So they sent me to this place that me and a case manager of mine who handles my insurance, which is family care, for anybody that's guessing at this point. They sent me to this place out in Oak Creek called Ignite um, Resort Medical Facility. So basically, it's a rehabilitation place slash nursing home. And they're based out of Chicago. And if you go to the website, they'll show you all these amenities, like literally, when you walk into the place, it looks like a 5-star hotel. That's exactly what it looks like. It has a Starbucks in there. You can get your hair and nails done and all that other shit, and it's like a big ass space. And if you go into the room, they look like real, legit, nice hotel rooms. Some rooms are single rooms, other rooms you share rooms, just like you share in a nursing home. Only difference is they have like a big, like luxurious panel between the walls with a refrigerator shit, whatever. So it's a lot of you get a lot of amenities. So when I went to scope it out with my case manager that Monday, and even before then, my nurse who's on my who helps with my insurance issues, she had went and we asked all the pertinent questions about, have you ever serviced a person with a spinal cord injury before? Yes, don't worry about this and that. So I'm feeling comfortable being released there to be there for the next 2 to 3 months because I need around the clock care. So I can't stay at home because my mother's too old to be doing all this extra stuff that I can't do for myself. I didn't have enough manpower through friends and family at the time to come over and spend 24 hours with me to be at home. So anyways, I get to the place and it's when I get there, I'm like, my shoulders are hurting really bad. I want to go to bed. So it took like 30 minutes, and the nurse showed up, the same nurse that checked me in, and said she was going to get somebody to come help me in the bed. So she showed like no one came to get you in the bed yet. I was like no. So she grabbed someone out the hallway, and they started getting me in the bed. And lo and behold, as they getting me in the bed, there's a big, a whole bunch of knocking on the door, and this girl come running in. Oh, y'all got him. I forgot I was eating lunch or whatever the fuck she was doing. So you get a page from a nurse, or did she come out there and talk to you and tell you that we have a new person and he needs to get in the bed, and you totally ignored it or whatever? So then I get into bed. It's probably 5:30, close to 6. So I'm needing my evening medications to help with my, muscle spasms, and I have like a lot of bladder spasms. And when you don't get that medication as a person with a spinal cord injury, there's a thing called autonomic, whatever. I can't. Dysreflexia. That's mean when, like usually when that happens with me, I get really bad headaches. I get sweats, and like I could like literally have a stroke or have an aneurysm because my blood pressure shoots through the roof. So I don't get my medications until 9:30 ish, and I'm just like, what's going on? And they're scared. Their reasoning is when somebody came in there, they don't have an intercom. Somebody has to come in and talk to you. In this lavish place, there's no intercom in there. And talking about, well, your nurse is doing rounds, and the way we set up, she can get to you when she gets around to her rounds. Okay. And I'm like, oh, really? So disregard everything that's going on. So they don't have any like computers in the room. There's no like medical monitors or anything like take your pulse with any of that shit. Nurses are walking around dragging that thing that they take in most hospitals, the little thing on the stand. So finally the nurse comes around and gets me my medication. And now they're supposed to be also helping me because I can't move my hands and stuff with some of my other personal shit. Her excuse was that we got to get permission to do that. And I'm like, permission from who? And what are you talking about? I wouldn't have came here if you all didn't say that you all offered, these services. Not knowing that my mother, after she left, she literally stopped at the front desk and asked them about the situation before she left. And I didn't know until she told me that they said to her, you have no idea how many people come in here and want us to. And I'm sitting there like, what? So you there, and you know what, it may be. But I'm not that dude whatsoever. And that's a hell of an excuse that I don't give a fuck if people have done it. Part of your job is to do what your job enlists you of doing. If something crazy happens, just like if people were giving massages and some dude or female in there asking for a happy ending or whatever, that's just that person. So then would you stop giving massages? I don't think so. So all that shit happened. So the next morning, it just like, you know what? So my mom's came out. We ended up calling the ambulance and we came back to the hospital. Now, checking into the hospital, they're like, where are you coming from? I'm like, I'm coming from the nurse. And they thought I stayed there and I had surgery and I was supposed to go back. No, that's not what happened. So I have to explain this to them. Then we had to go through the whole rigmarole of my whole spinal cord injury situation. Disregard my fucking shoulder. We're talking about other issues that could arise if I would have both use of my arms or whatever that I could handle at home by myself or whatever, or in any other situation. So we get back to the hospital, it's kind of a hassle. So I finally, they finally admit me. And, I called my physical medicine rehab doctors because the surgeon and the people who are quote unquote in charge of the spinal cord unit on the floor were not getting in contact with my physical medicine rehab doctors so they can understand the situation that even before I left and went to the nursing home, one of the female physical medicine rehab doctors, I came up on the floor to talk to the people who were in orthopedics and surgery about my situation because they couldn't give me the amount of pain pills that I would need. I mean, I was in excruciating pain for like 2 to 3 days straight, like really bad pain. But and I'm not really big on pain medication, but because my blood pressure is low majority of the time, just due to my spinal cord injuries, they kept looking at the situation where his blood pressure is too low. We don't know if we should give him this medication. But they didn't call downstairs. They didn't try to contact um, the team in the physical medical rehab facility. And they in the same, building in the business with Freighter. So, anyways, so I get down here, and they was like, well, we got to find, there's no, and this is where the whole insurance thing is fucked up. And this is another reason why, even at my job, one of the things we're trying to get done is to abolish, nursing homes. Because with a quarter of the money that you spend in nursing homes and this and that, if you could pay people, family members who are willing and they're not abusing the their family member who may have a disability or need some help and assistance, they're not abusing it. With a quarter of that money, you can pay someone living wages so they don't have to worry about going to work and this and that and paying bills to take care of their own family members. And I mean, in all actuality, taking care of someone with a disability, and I mean, just different levels of disability, people with dementia and this and that, it's not an easy job. Probably one of the hardest jobs in the world to do, just like being a nurse or being a CNA. That's if you into it and you really care about people and you just not out here bullshitting around. And that's one of the biggest problems why I left um, the rehab facility because the people that was there, and I'm gonna say this because it is what it is. But and are they lazy Caucasian people? I'm sure it is. But this is just my experience again, and I'm not afraid to call out facts. Every one of the CNAs that were in at Ignite medical results was African American girls, and them bitches were lazy. Excuse my French. And they didn't want to do anything, so I'm sure they got their job because that place is literally for people who are probably elderly and don't really have nowhere else to go or they can't stay with their families. So they spend the money to stay, and that's why they got the spas to make you feel like you're at home. So like that place is not equipped to deal with anybody. I would say with any type of spinal cord injury or some kind of severe developmental disability. They just stealing money. But anyways, I get back here. And so the social work lady come in, she's a young girl, probably 23, 24. And she keep on trying to push these nursing homes, like what nursing home here? I'm like, and they only had two available. It was either go back to the place that I was at or go to a different one. And the other one they suggested my care worker was there when she heard her say over the phone, she was like, no, don't even go that one. Stand your ground. So I know I'm not leaving this hospital unless I can either get 24-hour care around the clock at the crib, at the home, or I'm going to have to stay here because I'm not going to another one of those facilities. I done been to those facilities even before this happened with my job to visit consumers and then just to see how things were. It was fucking horrible. So anyways, she keeps on, I'm looking at her while she's talking to me. Then she asked me something about me coming to Freighter. And I don't know if they did that. And I guess there's probably been issues with people who are in nursing homes who don't like the treatment in nursing homes, so they do whatever to get out. They come to the hospital. First off, if people doing that shit, they should be telling you something. That they not getting the adequate care there, and they want to leave. This ain't no fraud against the system. This ain't people are apparently are not getting the care they need. Instead of you having this attitude like somebody's frauding the system and you just following protocol, and apparently you don't have any sympathy or empathy towards anybody, then you need to be in another profession. So, anyways, so I looked at her and I asked, I was like, wait a minute, do you think I left that rehabilitation facility. I'm on pain medication, so this shit starts to go awry. Just relax. I'm gonna get through this shit. So do you think that I just left there to come in the hospital for what? And she was like, she just stared there, and I was like, well, I said, and I told her like, if you feel that way, feel free to say that. I said, do you feel it? She was like, no, but then she's like, you have no idea how many people like try to really, and I'm just like, anybody that knows me, like I know a lot of the nurses still up here on the floor because I come up here and I know a lot of the therapists. Anybody knows me, the last place I want to be is in a fucking hospital. And you looking at me because I haven't shaved in a while and my hair hasn't been cut while I'm having whatever. And what you think I'm just trying to like do what somebody else does, or you stereotyping me with your bullshit. So then I'm asking her, I'm like, did you talk to my doctor in physical medicine rehab or whatever about the whole situation and why I can't stay at a rehab facilitation, especially with care like that, and why my best, if I can't get home and get 24-hour care, why my best option is to be here. And but then again, these insurance companies, they got these fucking rules and regulations that the hospital got to abide by. So in a way, I kind of can't fault her. But again, she's telling me she's done everything I asked her to do, and she hadn't. She didn't realize it doesn't realize that I have a outside relationship with my doctor. So we text each other, we talk to each other. So I'm literally on the phone texting him, asking him, has anyone contacted him about this situation? He was like, no one has contacted me or my coworker. And she's sitting here telling me in my face that yeah, we tried to contact them and this and that, and the doctor is at another building. And no, he wasn't. There's different parts of Freighted or whatever. But first off, it doesn't even make a difference if he was everybody. You didn't try to contact him because I was talking to him through text messages. So if I can reach him through text messages, you a social worker here at Freighted Hospital, how wouldn't you be able to get in contact with him? So, of course, at this point, I didn't tell her anything about that. I just like I'm not. I like. I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. Do you understand that? And she just looked at me. Okay, I'm gonna give you a space, and she ran out of here. So again, now I'm fighting tooth and nail. Not even tooth and nail. And I'm just standing my ground. I'm not going anywhere until this situation is rectified. I don't care what the protocols are or whatever. So she instead of her coming here, she's sending messages through the medicine doctor at this point. And he's starting to get on my nerves because see, he just listening on the same thing that she on. And he come what Aaron said she found. I don't give a damn what Aaron said she found. Why is Aaron now sending messages to you? Because she won't come back in here face me. Because I'm going to cuss him up. Well, anyways. Like after she did that, every day that I'm here, been here, my doors, when I had my door up, she would walk past here and looked at here and put her head down and walk past. Yeah, that's, I mean, whatever. I didn't ask for them. I have asked for them to have a conversation. We had this conversation, but she won't. So he came here with the same, and I told him, and he's seeing how real I was, and I'm explaining to him about my situation. He looked at me and said, yeah, yeah, didn't it just so happen why he was here? This is how the universe works. This just so happened why he was here, but one of the doctors from from my physical medicine rehab um, place came up here while he was up here, and she starts to explain to him what I was already explaining to him, but because she's in the white coat and this and that, he's gonna listen then, and now he's listening. So he listened to that. So then when I got up and I was going out, what was I doing? They got me up in this electric wheelchair I'm gonna have to use for a while. Going to hallway something. I was talking. I don't know who it was, but I was talking to them very direct as my two physical medicine as my doctor who's in physical medicine. His kill heart was standing there. They just looking at me like, oh, we don't have to say anything because no, I'm done. And like my mother goes a lot of overboard with stuff, especially if I'm in a hospital or whatever. And I mean, she tried to control everything. And I have to reel her back and we get into it, this and that. But after that, even at that place, I was like, you know what? Let me take the chain off this dog and let this dog run around here and do everything that it wants to do. That's exactly what I did. So, anyways, she kept on trying to push that issue. And it was like, no, I'm not doing that. So then, even after that, they kept on trying to say, well, we got you a Hoyer lift and we got you a hospital bed that's going to be delivered to your house. Is is tomorrow okay for you to go home or Friday? I'm just like, you all are not listening still. I do not have a safe place to go because I don't have anybody that can be with me 24 hours out the day. Do you understand? You're not going to send me somewhere just to get me from here and then put me in a situation where I might end up having any more injuries, then have to come back here anyway. So this is the shit that I had to go through. And a lot more people who probably can't advocate for themselves, who don't work where I work, who don't have the friends and family to back them, have to go through living in these quote unquote or going to these quote unquote rehabilitation facilities or these nursing homes who don't really give a fuck at all about that because all the bottom line is them making money. That's all it's about. So I don't, there has to be, I mean, you say vote, but when these nursing homes and everything and the people, these CEOs of these places, put money in the politician pockets for this and continue to go on, what do we do? I say every year at my job, we go to Capitol Madison, and we also go to D.C. and talk about long-term care legislation and stuff like that. And what needs to happen is the same thing that happened with Black Lives Matter. It can't just be parents, loved ones, and people with disabilities fighting for this. Nurses have to get involved. Doctors have to get involved. And so forth, because these insurance companies making money hand over fist and they don't want to pay out on anything because all the money they receive, they going on these fancy trips. Yeah, they got to pay employees, but okay. Again, I just told you a quarter of the money that they spend on those places. So they got these big lavish houses and all this other stuff, and that's all that's going on. And they out here making rules and regulations for people, and they're not involved or even talking to people on that's in the mud and doing everything. Because there's no way in the world that a doctor or a physical therapist and so forth would tell you if a person gets shot or injured or have a spinal cord injury that they only need 3 to 4 weeks to be in the hospital to be able to adapt to their situation. But you all are just doing over there cutting costs because you all want to make money and send billions and billions of dollars over to Ukraine while people over here aren't getting the care that they need. And I'm not taking light to what's going on in Ukraine, but I'm not worried about Ukraine. That's Ukraine's problem. But it is not Ukraine's problem because the United States is involved in that. And there's more to it than they telling you. And that's the very reason why they can send billions and billions of dollars over there, but they won't send billions of dollars over here to fix the problems that we have in this country around racism, about people with disabilities, the roads and everything else. But you can send billions of dollars over there. And it just goes to show you that they got some stuff in the game over there. That's why they aiding and abetting and assisting them. While we sitting there worried about what's going on with Kanye West and Chris Rock getting slapped by Will Smith. So this is just, all this is going to be a part of the documentary that I'm hopefully be able to mash up and put together on my own. It's a challenge, but I think I can do it. So, see you on the other side.